There are going to be more statements from the finance ministers here. You've got really important finance ministers, central bankers, also bankers from around the world. There will be more statements from them about what they might be able to do. But for the time being, even that domestic news, significant as it is, feels like it's somewhat kind of overshadowed by the extraordinary events that we're witnessing elsewhere.
Yeah, I've been taken over by global events. Ed Conway, thank you very much indeed. Now, for a closer look at the situation on the ground, I'm joined here in the studio by our military analyst, Sean Bell. Sean, always good to have you here, with us to explain a sense of what's going on. This order from the Israeli army, which effectively requires more than 1 million people in Gaza to leave, how significant is that?
It's very significant, but it's trying to get underneath what the actual story is here, because the Israelis have instructed Palestinians to move south away from Gaza City. The actual line is about a third of the way down of the strip, and it includes not only Gaza City but quite a lot of other ground. The Israelis claim that Gaza City is where the Hamas organisation, the military operations are being planned. They've been told that the Palestinians can return when they advise they're ready to go. And Israel's also concerned around that Hamas has a rich history of using civilians as human shields, and that's why they're justifying moving. But it's over 1 million people to move in 24 hours, so practically it seems pretty unlikely. Now, it could be that this is a precursor to the Israeli Defense Forces actually moving into the area and actually deciding to move in. From a military perspective, we've covered this yesterday, it will be an incredibly dangerous and difficult job to do, to go into an urban fight, which even if a lot of the civilians had left, it would leave the IDF incredibly vulnerable. Or another reason it could be being done is, you remember yesterday, there was a whole host of US diplomatic visits, and part of that was America saying, you know, don't get dragged to the same level. We've got to look after civilians and make sure we minimise civilian casualties. Now, the last time that Israel did the bombing campaign, they told Palestinians to leave, but there was nowhere for them to go. So potentially this is going, okay, we've listened to the Americans, top half of the Palestinians, all of you move south out of Gaza. We've now given you an option of moving somewhere, then we're going to resume our bombing campaign. And of course, with the IDF, there's a lot of tunnels underneath Gaza City, and that's where air power, particularly bunker buster bombs, could prove very useful.
We spoke to the Defence Secretary this morning, he underscoring the UK's commitment to providing what support they can. This decision to deploy these auxiliary ships, how significant?
Well, from a military perspective, initially I was quite alarmed, because you think that's a military contribution to the Israelis. But the Royal Navy has been very keen to point out these aren't warships. They're auxiliary ships, and they are actually focused on providing hospital facilities. They do include 3 Merlin helicopters and a bunch of Royal Marines as well. But from a military perspective, it is worth setting in context. The US has sent a carrier group, the Gerald Ford, which has more aircraft on it than most of our air forces have, bluntly. So it's a very capable carrier group. So militarily, we're not providing a significant contribution. But I think the key point is that a lot of the arms that flow into Hamas, apparently a lot of them come in via the sea. So it's quite possible that the Royal Navy will be part of policing that. But as you say, there's a grave risk. They're going to have to be really careful not to get involved in this conflict itself.
Indeed. We've also seen Israel attack more than one Syrian airfield. Does that show us that it's rippling out?
I think the worry from any military perspective here is that this escalates beyond the boundaries of Israel. And initially, when I heard about this news, I was quite alarmed. I was quickly reminded that every time Hamas does something, Hezbollah gets involved and throws a few missiles and mortars across the border, and also because Syria, because the Golan Heights are still contested, Syria does the same. And in the past, one of the big worry beads for Israel is that Arab states use their big military firepower, their air forces, conduct significant attacks. So it's no great surprise that Israel's gone, right, we're going to stop that at source, we're going to bomb your airfields just to stop you doing anything in response to rockets and missiles coming across. But again, it's just another indication of this incredibly febrile, tense situation that has the real risk that it suddenly escalates on the back of some little event that suddenly mushrooms into something much more strategic.
All right, Sean, thank you very much indeed. You're watching Sky News Today. Do stay with us. Coming up, Microsoft's revised deal to buy Call of Duty video game maker Activision is given the green light by the UK's competition watchdog. And Israel, as we've been hearing, tells 1.1 million Palestinians in North Gaza to leave as an offensive looms. I'll be asking the Director of War on Want, how do you go about moving so many people? And 4 Jewish schools in London are closed over fears of retaliatory attacks caused by the war in Israel.
I'm David Blevins and I'm Sky's senior Ireland correspondent. I'm based in Belfast, a city transformed by peace but still struggling with its past. Politically, the two sides are as far apart as ever, and it's over that question of who has sovereignty in Northern Ireland, the very issue that's been the source of tension here for generations. It takes 60 minutes to cross the Irish Sea. It took the British monarchy a century. I've spent 25 years reporting the journey from conflict to peace.
The political parties of Northern Ireland have reached agreement.
We help you understand the world with us.
Today, we have reached an agreement with the Conservative Party on support for government in Parliament.
We already know what the government gets out of this deal. What exactly does the DUP get out of it? Well, £1.5 billion. Welcome to Winterfell. It's an iconic location in this globally acclaimed drama. Ophelia was the most powerful hurricane this far east in the Atlantic on record. You can't live in a place like this and not appreciate the environment.
The Defence Secretary Grant Shapps has told Sky News it is highly likely that Britons have been taken hostage by Hamas and are being held in Gaza. Here's what he told Sky's Mark Austin earlier this morning.
It seems very likely that there are. We don't have exact data on that for obvious reasons. But within Gaza, there will also be Brits or possibly people with dual nationalities as well. The Prime Minister has spoken to the Egyptian President about using that border to get people out. But you're absolutely right to say the situation is far from clear. It's one of the reasons, as I mentioned before, we've sent additional personnel, intelligence personnel, in order to assist with exactly those types of operations.
So just to be clear, there could be British nationals being held hostage in Gaza, and you are sending experts in hostage taking to help out the authorities. Is that true?
Well, I can't go into specific detail. What I can tell you is it is highly likely, no one will know for sure, that there are those with either British nationals or people with joint nationality involved in the hostage situation that's been reported previously. Secondly, that we're sending assistance and expertise, including intelligence, to the region and to a number of different locations. But this is not the same as saying that we're sending people into Gaza itself.
Well, let's go live to Westminster. Our political correspondent Amanda Acas is there. Morning to you, Amanda. That's significant, isn't it? Because that's the first time a government official has told us that it is very likely that Britons are being held hostage.
Yes, indeed, it is a significant moment, and although it's certainly not, he wouldn't give confirmation, it was a very strong indication that the UK government certainly believes it is very likely that either British nationals or dual nationals are being held among those hostages taken by Hamas and being held in Gaza. Also interesting that the Defence Secretary went on to talk about sending intelligence personnel out to help with those operations, not in Gaza itself, but presumably presumably those operations are looking to try and locate the hostages, to work on any possible ways of attempting to get them out. And he also talked about the difficulty of establishing a clear intelligence picture there, which is why he said this task force, the military task force that's being sent to the Eastern Mediterranean, really is focusing on that surveillance intelligence gathering aspect. There's a number of spy planes included within the task force as well, we're told, as the 2 auxiliary vessels, one of which will be certainly useful for humanitarian purposes. It has 100 medical beds on board. Now, he also said the purpose of the task force is deterrence, to stop any malign actors attempting to exploit the situation, although acknowledged that there were no warships as part of that task force. He said, well, we do have warships in the region if necessary. At the moment, initially, we've decided not to send them because we don't want to escalate the situation. But I think it is quite a telling contrast with the scale of the response from the US, who have sent this full aircraft carrier. Now, there is a warship, however, in Sweden, where the Prime Minister spent the night last night, HMS Diamond. It's a frigate. Now, he's in Sweden to have meetings with various leaders from the Baltic and Nordic companies who are part of the Joint Expeditionary Force. This is a Royal Naval-led task force, the Rapid Reaction Force, which, and you can see there, the Prime Minister actually serving breakfast to some of the sailors on board HMS Diamond. He's thought to be the first Prime Minister to have been on board spent the night on board a ship since Harold Wilson. But he actually met the Swedish Prime Minister on board the ship. He's gone on to have a number of other meetings there, and we've got some comments from him. He's told the leaders that terrorism must not prevail either in the Ukraine or elsewhere in Europe. And I think really this meeting initially, I think, had been established to discuss the support from this group for Ukraine and the security issues there. But clearly now they're going to be focusing much more broadly on the situation in the Middle East as well.
Amanda, thank you very much indeed. Just some breaking news to bring you. We brought you news earlier this week of criticism of the Football Association for its refusal to light up the Wembley Arch in the colours of the Israeli flag. It was called spineless by some prominent Jewish groups in the country. We understand that the FA has a faith group, and within that, the Rabbi Alex Goldberg has resigned from the FA's faith group. He says, after 16 years at the FA, I resign, not in retreat, but in protest. For in silence, we sideline solidarity, and in omission, we risk our morality. May our separate paths prompt reflection and reformation in how we honour humanity within and beyond the realm of football. That statement accompanying the resignation of Rabbi Alex Goldberg from the Football Association's faith group. Now let's have a look at the weather. Rain will affect the south today, but the weekend looks drier, if noticeably colder. With overnight frosts in places, it'll be on the cool side for many this afternoon, but the windy south of Britain looks rather warm. Rain, locally heavy and thundery, will spread across England and Wales, becoming confined to East Anglia and the southeast later. Elsewhere, there'll be plenty of sunshine, but expect a scattering of showers, especially in the windy northwest. Severe gales are possible across northern Scotland. They do stay with us. Israel tells 1.1 million Palestinians in North Gaza to leave as an offensive looms. I'll be asking the director of War on Want, how do you go about moving so many people?
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email and phone number. That's it, you're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and intact? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination intact. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Vedasse.
Broadcasting live online. Turn it on. Turn it up.
It's your mouth. Bekutu, show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. We don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for home. For here, we they call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Starr Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
The best radio show. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and The Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio. This is
UK.
Starr Radio
UK.
This is Starr Radio
UK.
Welcome. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio.
The best radio show.
Radio.
The coolest way to start your weekend.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade. Jesus, and that's what makes you great. You hold the world in your hands. The hand that made me who I am. Same God now, yesterday, and forevermore. And that's what makes you great. You are God. You will never
Okay, let me say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you. And a happy Friday to you as well, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Those of you on other planets as well, we want to salute each and every one of you and welcome you to the Friday edition of the morning show. Today is the 13th day of October, the year 2023, with a time now 10:43 from the hearts of London. And it's the Friday edition. As I did say earlier on, I am the one and only.
This is the morning show.
And of course, your weekend start from where? Here on Starr Radio UK. And I'm saying good morning to my team this morning, Mr. Olayomi, Koiki, and Mr. Dan Tebri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services, our money man. I salute you. And to all your families as well, to my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy, pulling all the strings and doing everything to make sure that the program goes on smoothly. Francis, good morning to you. And I'm saying good morning to Bishop Adeshina, massive good morning. Anthony Adedeji, Aziz, good morning. Shamsuddin, good morning. Olakunle, good morning. Hey, Rachel, I hope you are doing very, very, very well. Good morning to you as well. So Maxwell, where you are, and every one of you wonderful people, I salute you. My brother Felix all the way in Aberdeen, massive good morning to you. Mr. Frank Davis in town, good morning to you. Dr. Martin, good morning. Mr. David Kluche, long time no here. I hope you are doing very, very well. Boy, oh boy, it's been quite a while. But massive good morning to you as well. But do me a massive favor, take one step further, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones, and invite them to like our pages. But wherever you are, know that you are tuned in to Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So by way of program outline, I'm going to bring you the quote for the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel update as well. We'll move on from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. It's known as Global Trotting. Then after that, we bring you all that you need to know from Nigeria, with the updates from Nigeria. Unfortunately, we have Mr. Olayomi Koiki still doing some work, and therefore there's a tendency that he will not be live. However, he's giving me some sneak view and some stories that is making the rounds that we can touch on. However, if you're there listening to me from Nigeria and all you staff at the RBS office working with Bishop Adeshina, if you have any information, feel free, post it on YouTube or wherever means that you can do so, and let me have it and we can share it with all our worldwide listeners. Then after that, the discussion continues. At 12 o'clock, the lines are open for you to add your voice to the discussions. At 12:30, the first part of the program is brought to an end, and then we'll take you to Kent, where our money man, Mr. Dan Tebri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services, is to bring you the money hour. Then after that, the curtains are brought down for the end of the program. So in a gist, that's what's going to be happening. So tighten up your belts, get yourself a hot or cold drink, whichever is appropriate, and let's take this journey. But once again, I am your captain, and I say welcome on board. Okay, so the question of the day says, your character tells others who you are. Your character tells others who you are. And what is your character telling others? What character are you showing or emitting to them? That's the question, the big question there. It is all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Alright then, so now let's move on straight to some other issues that we're looking at, and one pertaining to what the weather has got in stock for us today. Now interestingly, it looks like now the temperatures is going to be like what we've been seeing or normal temperatures for this time of the year. And that is autumnal weather here in the UK. But let me tell you what is happening in the southeast of England and London, to be specific. So here, this is what is happening. Yes, we're going to be having this afternoon. We'll start with sunny spells and showers turning overcast again in the late afternoon, with a band of heavy persistent rain moving in from the northwest. It's going to be windy though. Now tonight it will be dry as cloud and heavy rain. Clear eastwards. It will turn cool with mostly clear skies all for us all, and the winds will be easing there as well. The total temperature is going to be 21 degrees. The lowest is going to be 7 degrees. UV level is going to be moderate. Pollution is going to be low. Sunset is going to be 18, 12, and sunrise for tomorrow morning 07:20 hours. But when it comes to the weekend, well, Saturday we're going to be having top temperature 13 degrees and the lowest 3 degrees, a mixture of sunny spells, but it's going to, as I did say, the autumnal weather is taking place, taking place, and therefore we're going to be having what did I call it? A mixture of sunshine and cloud, but top temperature 13 degrees, the lowest 3 degrees. And then come Sunday, top temperature 11 degrees, the lowest 2 degrees. So it gets a bit cooler than it's become of late. So wherever you are, it is the weather forecast for you for today and over the weekend. My apologies there for that disruption there, but let's move on. Let's have a look at what your travels are or it's like this morning. So wherever you are, don't touch the dial. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So on your travel this morning, yes, on the major roads in London, A13 and North Circular A406 have got severe delays. So if you can avoid them, do your best to avoid them. Don't even dare go in there at all. And then A20 has got serious delays as well. In Croydon, the Wellesley Road has got some traffic because of a temporary traffic light there. So there's serious traffic on that road as well. And that the Mitcham Road, before you get to the Seminar Road, the junction there, there's serious traffic on the flyover right down there. So if you can avoid that as well, do your best to avoid that. But when it comes to the underground this morning, good service through, apart from the on the London Tramlink that has got minor delays due to train shortages. All the others good service. London Overground and DLR are running a very, very good service there as well. But keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads as we keep navigated. I promise our bond. Now moving on straight to the riverbank this morning. As you know, the Woolwich Ferry has still got reduced service. That aside, all the others are running a very good service there as well. Moving on finally to what is happening when it comes to the final segment of the Travel Live Date, and that is the National Rail. Well, we got cross country, Great Western Railway, London North Eastern Railway, Southern and Transport for Wales, all having minor delays. Also, First Transparent Express, Northern Rail has got special service, and ScotRail has got severe delays. So if you can avoid them, do your best to do so. That aside, all the others are running good service. But as I would say, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
The Global Real Estate Wealth Summit with Dr. Olumide Emmanuel will be happening live in October in a city of the United Kingdom. It will be an event like none other. 1 day, 8 speakers, 10 sessions. Date, Saturday, 14th October 2023. Register now to qualify for the 30% discount offer. Visit www.olumideemmanuel.org/GrewUK to register, or call the hotlines 074-231-55486 or 020-322-30800.
Welcome back to the program Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 7 minutes to the top of the hour, and it's time for what? You got it. It's time for Global Trotting. So let's do it. Let's do it. Now, what is happening across the globe? Yes, but we'll start from where? Niger. And let me tell you some of the stories that Yomi has forwarded to me. CBN lifts FX restriction on 43 items. I'm going to be telling you more about that as we go on. And also Nigeria, Apapa gridlock. Lagos government evacuates abandoned trucks. Yeah, where have they moved them to? Or have they got maybe a big car park where they are just dumping them, or storage where if you have to you pay your money and then they can you can retrieve or take it? What is going to happen to it? Minister demands timely completion of AKK gas pipeline project. Well, maybe cracking the whip will let people do what they're supposed to do, right? Somebody will say no. But listeners, it's all coming away from Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Updates or Global Trotting, bringing you some of the stories making the rounds in Nigeria today, as I have said. And federal government grants petroleum exploration license to TGS PD. And who are they? I'll be telling you more about them as well. So don't even think of touching the dial at all. And Sun destroys multi-billion naira fake items. Moles life imprisonment for importers. Now we'll have to be looking at that. Well, they said that they are fake items. What are they? Are they detrimental to our health? Now, if they confiscated it from these individuals, importers, could it have been of use to the public, the general public? So you confiscate it, you don't give them nothing out of it. If it is good for consumption, why don't you give to the citizens? But we like behaving that way. I remember back in the day when in Kenya they said that elephant tax, they've gone round and actually, what do you call it, seized or confiscated a heap of them. And what they did was that they stood there and set fire. And I asked myself the question, what is the point? It is something that is wrecked. So a mistake has already been committed, right? Good. Now, why do we go further to live or behave as if we are living in riches? So let's take it that, somebody has gone to do illegal mining. Now, they dug some gold or some diamonds. Now, when we got them, we said because we want to, their punishment to serve as a detriment or deterrent to others, and therefore we will destroy it all, just smash it apart and just throw it into the deep seas. So you ask yourself the question, what is the sense there? But I'll be telling you more about that. If they brought fake items, what are those items? Were there ones that they could be used, or if it's electrical items where you think that the batteries are such that if they continue to do so, they could spark a bit of fire or stuff like that. So I don't want to jump the gun, but I'll be bringing that more of it your way. And Adeleke hails Nigeria Army for protecting democracy since 1999. Really interesting one as well. I know people will be talking about that. Okay. And the federal government tests security agencies on intelligence research to overcome insecurity. Well, that is also going to be coming your way. So we've got a few to be looking at. Nigeria drawn against host nation Cote d'Ivoire to begin 21st AFCON appearance, and reps invite Minister Diaspora Commission over alleged maltreatment of Nigerians in Ethiopia. Boy, when it comes to Africa, at times I ask myself the question, what is wrong with us? There was a video that somebody sent to me, and I've been looking for it because a few people that have spoken about that issue too have told me that you need to find it, but I've been looking for it and I can't find it, but I will look for it. I tell you, I look for it. Just now as I'm speaking, I'm thinking I'm trying to find one particular person that I might have sent it to, and then these people who are Caucasians who have met at a place and were plotting, hatching that look, if you allow Africans to have their own way where they are able to stand on their own feet, I mean, by uniting and trading among themselves, that will be the end of the advanced world. Okay, that's what they were saying. So he said they have to do everything in that. So somebody had, it's not like the person was focusing on them, but somebody captured it. And this is not doctored, as some people say, it's a doctored. No. You could see that this is a live thing, and the person is hitting the camera and was picking whatever this individual was saying. So when I see Africans behaving this way to other African nations, then, but at times, so I get to a point where I understand that some of us, we don't adhere to rules. So we move to a different country, and we don't want to do the bidding of this country or the things that they want us to do. I mean, if we want to live there. So if that is what is happening, that's a different ball game. But when we are being maltreated, like what was happening in South Africa, and I say South Africa because I look at South Africa back in the day when, I mean, apartheid was rife, and we have most African countries giving them. And I said, where I lived in Ghana, in Accra, we had the NAFTI, that is Ghana National Film and Television Institute hostel there, and I can tell you lots of them were South Africans who were on scholarship. I mean, the Ghana government has given them scholarships, come and study there so that they can so all those things that were going on. And then when it happens, and I knew that Nigeria was doing so, and other parents were doing so as well. Then when it gets to a point, now you say that, because people are taking your jobs, and but you've not actually trained yourself. I don't want to talk about that too. And then decide to go on a warpath and be killing them and be destroying their properties. Then I say, you people are not thinking, I mean, deep at all. But, well, Olayomi Tosino, hey, Tosino, how are you? So well done. I hope you are doing very, very well. It is Starr Radio UK, and thank you very much for joining in as well. Is it my Tosino from Russia or from Moscow? Okay, let me know. Tosino, is that you or is another Tosino? All right, then, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So we'll be bringing you more on that front. Oh, my brother, it's been quite a while. Oh, I hope you are doing very, very well. Nice to see you. Nice to hear of you there. Yes? Okay. It's my brother Tosino. Yes, in Moscow. All right, then. And moving on straight to some other stories making the rounds in other parts of Africa as well. Yes, let's look at South African authorities target coal smuggling. Yes, a gang, they said, contributed to a power crisis. We're also doing very, very well here, Tosino. And I will love, one of these days I'll arrange for that after program we can have a chat. Yeah, all right then. Zambia debt deal closed but not signed yet. IMF spokesperson is saying an activist protest on sidelines on IMF World Bank annual meeting. And one of the posters that these individuals or banners that these individuals are using say dignity, not debt. And that's what I'm saying. I said this was the picture that quite recent Gaddafi had. Though people might not agree with him in some of his policies, but he was trying to say that look, until the time that we unite and we trade amongst ourselves and we are able to loan money to ourselves and develop ourselves, as yesterday we had the former president of Nigeria saying, Olusegun Obasanjo, homegrown policies to meet our own needs and making sure that our economy, I mean, our people don't live in this part of the world. So if you talk about, we are talking about maybe heaters and stuff. We don't do Nigerians need heaters? We don't need that. So we need something extra. We need air conditioning. Do we have sunshine? Yes, we have sunshine. What other things could we do there? But it looks like when the Western people or advanced country had it, this is the Western more. They thought, this man is going to be a thorn in our flesh. Going to unite these people, and they're going to be having so much power and their resources. They're not going to be allowing us to come and just take them away the way that we are doing. Then it will not be good for us. And they did what? they just went overthrew him and he was murdered. Okay. Well, so what do you think about that? Yes, I will let Yomi know. Yes, I will let Yomi know. Yomi is working on something. We know that Chief Sunday Igboho is in Germany now, and we need to work on a few things. So Yomi is very busy. He's trying to see to those bits. So hopefully Monday he should be joining us. Okay, or as and when he's free, he might hop in. But I promise you that sometime maybe next week or thereabout, we'll try to see whether we can get Chief Sunday Igboho on the show as well. But listeners, it is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, when it comes to other stories making the rounds in other parts of Africa as well, COVID tests at KIA, Frontiers Healthcare Services, gained $84 million, while Ghana got under $7 million. So, again, we are our own enemies. Our own enemies. All right. Now, we will still pursue Atuasian for 53 million Ghana cedis debt despite jail term. Well, the deputy AG is saying, well, Atuasian have been sentenced to 15 years imprisonment, incarceration for corruption or whatever. Financial practice, whatever term that they might have used for it. But is that a yardstick? I mean, they've done that. Okay, so are we going to now look at all the industry and various places and various platforms and say that, well, people did, cause a loss to the state and therefore they will all have to be brought to justice? Are we going to be seeing that? We are ready to go after those involved in banking sectors. That is what the Deputy Attorney General is saying. So who next? Well, a few banks were shut down. And is it a ploy to actually go after these ones? Well. Listeners, it is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. All right. In another story as well, Ghana has financed development with debt since independence. Efri Yakoto is saying an alliance exit from MPP hurts me. Efri Yakoto is saying there as well. But he went on further to say MPP is sick on hospital bed. So if they are sick, why should we bring them back? Let them go and get themselves treated. Okay, Tosino, thank you very, very much, and have a lovely day. We'll catch up later. Yeah. All right then. Okay. Now moving on straight to other stories as well. Tosino has to go back to work, and therefore he's off now. Yes. It's lovely to have him on. Now, in other parts of the world as well. Now, Israel wants 1.1 million people to flee northern Gaza. Now, Israel says civilians must move for their safety before an expected offensive, but the UN is warning of devastating consequences. Now, these are people who are going to be moving to that side. They don't even have water. Neither do they have electricity. Meanwhile, even spread over that within that particular enclave, we're saying that they are cramped up. So talk less, making them move to the south. What do you think is going to happen? Wow. Listeners, it is Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Israel targets Hamas labyrinth of tunnels under Gaza. Palestinian militants are thought to have built hundreds of kilometers of tunnels underneath Gaza as well there. And then pro-Palestinian demo broken up after French ban. Tear gas is used after pro-Palestinian rallies are banned as possible threat to public order. And 7 dead after migrant vehicle crashes in Germany. Now, authorities said the driver of the suspected smuggling vehicle attempted to evade police before losing control. Oh boy. And there's a breaking news that is coming through now. 1 dead in French school stabbing, 1 dead and 2 seriously injured in knife attack at a school in France. That is just news that are broken, that is coming through, and I promise I'm going to be bringing that your way as well. 7 minutes past 11 the time. We're going to be taking a break. I'm going to bring you some music, and then we'll bring you all the details from Nigeria to other parts of the world as well. And in the UK has deployed Navy ships to bolster security in the Middle East. 2 ships, surveillance aircraft, helicopters, and a detachment of Royal Marines are being dispatched. Now, flights have been arranged for Britons stranded in Israel. The first flight is set to leave Tel Aviv later on Thursday. That was yesterday, the Foreign Office said. Now, Afghans in UK visa limbo as Pakistan vows to expel migrants. Afghans who work with the UK are living in fear in Pakistan as it cracks down on migrants without visas. Interesting. Now, 3 Jewish schools closed for the day over security fears. The schools in North London are shut on Friday due to planned protests in support of Palestinians as well. And Call of Duty maker Activision to be bought by Microsoft. It's all some money for some people. What about that? Well, it is 8 minutes past the top of the hour. The time. Starr Radio UK, the station. Those of you on all the other platforms, I salute each and every one of you. Let's enjoy this song from Say the Goodness of God. Another reggae tune of that. And this is from who? I'm going to be telling you that pretty soon, whilst we take this short commercial break, and I'll be with you.
Global Real Estate Wealth Summit with Dr. Olumide Emmanuel will be happening live in October in a city of the United Kingdom. It will be an event like none other. 1 day, 8 speakers, 10 sessions. Date, Saturday 14th October 2023. Register now to qualify for the 30% discount offer. Visit www.olumideemmanuel.org/GrewUK to register, or call the hotlines 074-231-55486 or 020-322-30800.
Me, and all my days have been held in your hand.
All around the world.
That I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful.
On mobile and soon on DAB. This is Starr Radio UK, the leading Afro-Caribbean radio station in London.
The best radio show. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
I've known you as a father.
All around the world.
And I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. Yes, Lord. All my life you have been so good. Every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. And I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God.
All around the world.
Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down and surrendered now, I give you everything. Your goodness is running after me.
24/7.
Running after me.
In your car,
At work.
at home,
On your smartphone.
God is so good. God is so good. He's so good to me. God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. He's so good.
The Global Real Estate Wealth Summit with Dr. Olumide Emmanuel will be happening live in October in a city of the United Kingdom. It will be an event like none other. 1 day, 8 speakers, 10 sessions. Date, Saturday, 14th October 2023. Register now to qualify for the 30% discount offer. Visit www.olumideemmanuel.org/GrewUK to register or call the hotlines 074-231-55486 or 020-322-30800.
Okay, welcome back to the program. The Global Real Estate Summit is taking place. Wealth Summit is taking place tomorrow, and you can see the flyer on the broadcast if you are listening or watching us live. Okay, how to create wealth and make money through real estate in the UK, USA, UAE, and Nigeria. Now, the program is on Saturday, the 14th of October, 2023, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now, diverse Grand Connaught rooms, okay? The very Grand Connaught rooms, 61 to 65 Great Queen Street, London, WC 286DA is where the event is going to be happening. The fee covers the £1,000 that you are paying. Okay, it covers 90 days of mentorship opportunity, master classes and panel sessions, conference materials, tea break, buffet lunch, investment appointments, networking, Q&A session, certificate of participation, all will be given to you. So the various contact numbers are there. So get in touch. Well, just 1 day is 10 hours with 8 speakers. Boy, oh boy, it is a time that you don't have to miss out at all. So make a date. All right then. So let me say thank you very much. The Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now let me bring you some details of some of the stories making the rounds in their wonderful, most populous country in Africa, namely Nigeria. That's what I want to talk about. So we start from Nigeria first, and then we'll move on to some of the other ones. Okay, so now the CBN has lifted FX restrictions on 43 items. Now the story said the Central Bank of Nigeria has lifted restrictions on importers of all 43 items previously restricted by the 2015 circular reference third firm, that's okay, TED/FEM/FEC/Gen/01/010 and its addendums, and has now allowed them to purchase foreign exchange in the Nigeria market. Also, the CBN said it will continue to promote orderliness and professional conduct by all participants in the Nigerian forex market to ensure market forces determine exchange rates on a willing buyer, willing seller principle. The CBN reiterated that the prevailing forex rates should be referenced from platforms such as the CBN website, FMDQ, and other recognized or appointed trading systems to promote price discovery, transparency, and credibility in the FX rates. Dr. Isa Abdulmumin, Director of Corporate Communications of the CBN, who disclosed this on Thursday in a press statement, said importers of all 43 items previously restricted by the 2015 circular referenced which I did read earlier on, and its addendums are now allowed to purchase foreign exchange in the Nigerian foreign exchange market. As part of its responsibility to ensure price stability, the CBN will boost liquidity in the Nigerian foreign exchange market by intervening from time to time. Now, reacting to the development, Professor Uchenna Uwaleke, Director, Institute of Capital Market Studies, Nasarawa State University, Kefi, said regarding the readmission of 43 items to the forex market, its immediate impact will be to reduce the premium between the official and parallel market, but it will have negative implications for import substitution and local manufacturing efforts. Now, Dr. Abdul Mumin added that as market liquidity improves, the CBN interventions will gradually decrease. He affirmed that the CBN is committed to accelerating efforts to clear the FX backlog with existing participants and will continue dialogue with stakeholders to address the issue. Now, according to him, the CBN has set as one of its goals the attainment of a single FX market, and consultation is ongoing with market participants to achieve this goal. He urged all participants and the general public to be guided by the latest information. A list of 43 non-eligible items unbanned from accessing forex by CBN include rice, cement, margarine, palm kernel, palm oil products, vegetable oils, meat, processed meat products, vegetable and processed vegetable products, poultry, including that's chicken and egg, turkey, and private airplanes or jets. Now, others are Indian incense, tinned fish in sauce, that's geisha sardines, cold rolled steel sheets, galvanized steel sheets, roofing sheets, wheelbarrows and headpans, metal boxes and containers, enamelware, steel drums, steel pipes, wire rods, deformed and not deformed, iron rods and reinforcing bars, wire mesh, steel nails, security and razor wire, wood particle boards and panels, wood fiber boards and panels, plywood boards and panels, wooden doors and furniture. Now, there are lots more of it. So, you remember back in the day when Buhari said that he blocked shut the borders between Nigeria and Benin so that people will not be able to bring rice into the country because he was trying to augment or try to boost the rice farmers in Nigeria. And this is a situation where the farmers were not even able to go to their farms. Why? Because we have the Fulani headsmen, or the, what we call them, the headsmen menace that was going on as well. That brought about people losing their lives and losing their farm produce as well. But, well, with this, how do you think it's going to impact Nigerians as a whole? But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, I was trying to get one story that has got a bit of a link. Okay, is it that? Yes. Now, the Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, yesterday destroyed fake and substandard products worth several billions of naira in Lagos. Now, products destroyed are engine oil, electrical cables, and substandard tires. However, speaking during the destruction of the products seized by the organization, the Director General of SON, Malam Farouk Salim, disclosed that the organization was reviewing its act to ensure importers of life-threatening materials are jailed and not just fined. According to Salim, peddlers of these items are economic saboteurs, and their activities sabotage our industry, people, and cause loss of individuals who are innocently buying these products. Now, this is one of the reasons why in the last National Assembly we went to them to review our act to make sure that importers of life-threatening materials are jailed, not just fined. Now, thankfully, they passed the law, but unfortunately, when the government was settling down, they did not get the opportunity for the president to sign it into law. So it is back in the National Assembly for concurrence, and hopefully very soon it will be with the president, and I'm sure the president will sign that amendment, and those individuals selling threatening items will be jailed immediately they are caught. And as I've said, well, now that they've opened they've allowed about 43 items that were banned now to be added, so that people can now go access foreign exchange to import those things. I think it will help Nigeria some way, somehow, right? Good. Now, Lagos State government, in collaboration with the Nigerian Ports Authority (NPA) and the Nigerian Police, yesterday impounded 18 trucks and removed abandoned and indiscriminately parked trucks on the Oshodi-Apapa Expressway. The enforcement came barely 48 hours after the Senate and the state government expressed the need for concerted effort to end the perennial interactable traffic gridlock in Apapa and its environs. Now, leading the Senate Committee on Marine Transport to Lagos was the chairman of the committee and the former deputy speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Senator Wasiu Eshinlonkon Sani. Now, speaking during the enforcement exercise, General Manager of the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASMA, Mr. Bolaji Oregba, explained that the decision, which was taken after the expiration of a removal order issued to truck drivers, will ensure the general safety of motorists and allow unimpeded free flow of traffic around the entire Apapa axis. Now, Regba, who spoke through LASMA Director of Public Affairs and Enlightenment Department, Mr. Adebayo Tafik, disclosed that over 18 trucks have so far been removed by the government following its zero tolerance for gridlock and indiscipline. He said the Lagos State government, being a responsible and responsive one, will ensure that motorists have a smooth ride from Port Gate inwards, Apapa Oshodi Expressway, and not only trailers carrying containers. Series of meetings have been held with the Petroleum Tanker Trailer Driver Branch of the National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, and other transport stakeholders to educate their members and ensure they desist from indiscriminate parking and being indisciplined on the road. All tanker drivers, trailer drivers are advised to adhere strictly to the new directive, as the government will not hesitate to enforce traffic rules and regulations to the letter. Now, it's a good one there, because you look at the number of times where trailers or tankers have crashed on vehicles and everything that has happened there. Honestly, at times I ask myself the question, what exactly was going on there? But it's one of those things there. Okay, so I hope that it's not going to be a 9-day wonder, that they're going to be coming back to have a look at it, making sure they crack the whip all through. Starr Radio UK. Now, Minister demands timely completion of AKK gas pipeline project. The Minister of State Petroleum Resources, that's the gas, Ekperikpe Ekpo, has charged contractors handling the 614 kilometers Ajokuta Kaduna Kano, that's the AKK gas pipeline project, not to default on the promise of July to August 2024 completion deadline. The minister, who toured the project on Thursday, had expressed concerns over the slow pace of work, demanding from Oil Serve Limited, the contractor handling the segment one of the projects, when exactly the project will be completed. Now, ECHO said the economic prosperity of Nigeria was tied to the AKK project, as it was designed to supply gas to homes, automobiles, electricity, and industrial users within Abuja, Kaduna, Kano, and adjoining states of the Federation. I appreciate that the contractors are doing what the contractors are doing, but I want you to know that the prosperity of Nigeria depends on this project, because energy is synonymous with prosperity, and when this project is completed, we will have energy security in our country. Investors can then come in to do business and also create jobs for our citizens, Ekpo said. All well and true, I agree with him there. But the issue once again is, was it too big a project to be given to one contractor? As we heard yesterday, that some of them get 2, 3, 4 contracts and they don't have the machinery or the manpower to be able to execute all the projects at the same time. So at times there are lapses in the completion time that cause lots of havoc to the general public and the taxpayer as a whole. But listeners, it's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Updates from Nigeria. Reps invite Minister Diaspora over alleged maltreatment of Nigerians in Ethiopia. The House of Representatives has resolved to invite the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Chairman of Nigeria Diaspora Commission, NICOM, to brief them on the preventative measures taken to protect Nigerians and air travelers to Addis Ababa. This was sequel to a motion by the House Minority Leader Kingsley Chinda and 10 others at plenary yesterday. In his lead debate, Chinda noted that alleged incidents of victimization, maltreatment, and forced imprisonment of Nigerians, including air travelers in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. According to the Minority Leader, one Dr. Paul Ezeke, in a Save Our Soul message, recounted the experience of a Nigerian allegedly arrested and put in prison in Ethiopia. He noted that some Nigerians are currently serving at the Chilta maximum security and other prisons in Ethiopia, adding that most of them were travelers who used Ethiopia airports as a transit point. The lawmaker said they were indiscriminately arrested at the airport in Addis Ababa, taken to the hospital and forcibly injected with some substances and later taken to prison facilities. Nachinda therefore called the protection of Nigerians in Addis Ababa, other parts of the world, and be given some protection accorded foreigners who live in Nigeria. The motion read, aware that 250 Nigerians are currently serving prison terms in Ethiopia as a result of frequent attacks and may die in prison if urgent steps are not taken to save them. Also aware that these Nigerians are not only poorly treated but also subjected to very agonizing conditions, poor feeding, and without medication. Cognizant that the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, joined the rest of Africa to sign a remarkable trade agreement for the continent, and the fact that Nigerians are industrious entrepreneurs and have spent years transacting business in Addis Ababa and air travelers contributing to their economy. He expressed worries that if early interventions and diplomatic measures were not taken by the federal government to check the incessant attacks on Nigerians in Addis Ababa, air travelers will be at risk. Now, lawmakers unanimously adopted the motion by voice vote and mandated the Committee on Diaspora and Foreign Affairs to engage the relevant agencies and report back within 3 weeks for further legislative action. And that is a good one, calling them to order, because if it is true that people are arrested indiscriminately, taken to hospital, injected with whatever substance, and then by so doing maybe it makes them act erratically, and then say that maybe because of that they are misbehaving or something, and then throw them into prisons. Boy, well, the federal government has tasked security agencies on intelligence research to overcome insecurity. The federal government has tasked security agencies to explore intelligence research in the bid to address the current security challenges bedeviling the country, which is described as ideological warfare than a physical war waged on the nation. Now, Minister of Interior Honorable Olubunmi Tunji Ojo made this assertion on Thursday in Abuja during the public presentation and official launch of 12 books authored and co-authored by the Commandant General of Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Dr. Ahmed Abubakar Audi, and Professor Tayo Tehemba, Academy President and International Academy for Gender and Peace. Now, Tunji Ojo admitted that Nigeria is faced with enormous challenges at the moment, but assured Nigerians that there is now light at the end of the tunnel with the coming of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his renewed hope agenda. He noted that the role of research in the enhancement of internal security could not be overemphasized, stressing that security is a science and the ability to forecast certain incidents will determine the level of one's success in eliminating threats, since one could not guard against what you do not know. The minister said security has gone beyond the barracks and the state running after the bad guys. If you are running as a state after the bad guys, that means you have not succeeded, because it should be the bad guys running to catch up with the pace of the state. And how true is that? It is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. 11:33 the time. Updates from Nigeria, and we still got a couple of them that we can bring your way before we bring that update to our close. But Adeleke is also hailing Nigeria Army for protecting democracy since 1999. Now, Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke has lauded the Nigerian Army for protecting and ensuring uninterrupted democracy in Nigeria since 1999. The governor gave the commendation at EAD when he received the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja, who paid him a courtesy call during the working tour of Nigerian Army formation and units in the 2-division area of responsibility. Now, Governor Adeleke clarified that Nigerian Army has been instrumental to the thriving of democracy in Nigeria by remaining professional and adhering to strictly to its constitutional responsibility as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The government urged the troops to remain steadfast and continue to maintain peace and harmony amongst the populace in concert with sister services and other security agencies, even as he pleaded the state support to the Nigerian Army. In his remarks during the visit, General Lagbaja appreciated the government and good people of Osun State for their support to the Nigerian Army in executing its constitutional mandate, assuring that the Nigerian Army will remain committed in delivering on its statutory responsibilities. Similarly, the Chief of Army Staff joined the Governor of Osun State, Senator Ademola Adeleke, to inaugurate new blocks of classrooms at the local authority primary school, Alusekere, Ede, Osun State. The project which was executed by Major General Kamal Yusuf, comprised 3 new blocks of classrooms, rehabilitated block, teacher's office, furnishing of 9 classrooms, a perimeter fence around the school, and a borehole. Now, speaking of the commissioning, the COAS averred that the project is a Chief of Army Staff Civil Military Cooperation Special Intervention Project, conceptualized to provide top-notch facilities to complement state infrastructure development, and in appreciation of the people's support to the Nigerian Army. He pointed out, however, that the intervention does not put the Nigerian Army in a competition or rivalry with any group, nor is it intended to give political advantage to any serving or retired officer. Well. Listeners, this is Starr Radio UK. This is where I bring that update from Nigeria to a close. It is now 11:36 from the House of London, and we're going to take a commercial break, and I'll bring you some lovely tune, and we continue to look at some of the other stories making the round. So wherever you are,
in your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone,
don't even think of touching the dial.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
The problem of Africa is the elite. Who run things, who run things, who run things. The problem of Africa is the elite. Who run things, who run things, who run things. Them all go to universities. Universities award them degrees. Big degrees. Degrees.
This is Starr Radio UK.
MSc in stealing. Bachelor of Arts, Mismanagement. Masters in looting. MSc in corruption, Bachelor of Science in nepotism, MSc in forgery, Bachelor of Arts in indiscipline, MSc in embezzlement. The problem of Africa is the elite. Who run things, who run things, who run things. The problem of Africa is the elite. Who run things, who run things, who run things. Some of them went to London.
This is Starr Radio
London School of Fools, where they were awarded degree.
The Global Real Estate Wealth Summit with Dr. Olumide Emmanuel will be happening live in October in a city of the United Kingdom. It will be an event like none other. 1 day, 8 speakers, 10 sessions. Date, Saturday 14th October 2023. Register now to qualify for the 30% discount offer. Visit www.olumideemmanuel.org/GrewUK to register or call the hotlines 074-231-55486 or 020-322-30800.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 90 minutes to the top of the hour. And now let's go to other parts of Africa. Let's look at what is happening there as well. Yes, I am yours sincerely, the one and only Archie. Okay, so moving on straight to some of the other stories happening on the African continent, notably Okay, notably, okay, just bear with me. Loading. Yeah, I got it. South African authorities have targeted coal smuggling gang they say contributed to a power crisis. So where were they smuggling the coal to? Interesting, isn't it? Okay. So the story says that the South African authorities said they conducted raids across 5 provinces Thursday to break up a coal smuggling syndicate they blame for stealing more than $26 million in coal, degrading state-owned power plants and contributing to an electricity crisis. The criminal gang diverted trucks carrying high-grade coal to power stations, stealing the coal to sell and replacing it with substandard products. The country's tax and revenue agency said in a statement. Now, the substandard coal has caused crippling damage to the country's power plants, authorities have said. The South African Revenue Services worked with other law enforcement agencies to carry out search and seizure operations in the Gauteng, Mpumalanga, KwaZulu-Natal, Free State, and Limpopo Province. No arrests have been made yet. National Police spokesperson Brigadier Atlenda Mathe said. Now, Africa's most advanced economy is in the midst of a power crisis that has resulted in a scheduled rolling back blackouts because its coal-fired stations are not generating enough electricity for the country's 62 million people. The state-owned power utility Eskom produces about 95% of South Africa's electricity. The blackouts have been largely blamed on years of corruption and mismanagement of Eskom, though authorities also have said that suspected organized crime syndicates have been operating for years around Eskom's power station supply chains. Now, suspects involved in the syndicate include former Eskom employees, the tax agency said. The switching of a coal destined for state-owned plants have worsened the country's electricity crisis, the agency said. The low-grade coal damages the infrastructure at the Eskom power station, which is a major factor on crippling the power utility ability to generate electricity for the South African grid, it said. Now, South Africa experienced its worst blackouts over the start of the year when homes and businesses went without electricity for more than 8 hours a day. The electricity is usually cut off in 2-hour blocks. Appeared out over the day. The cuts have eased in recent weeks, but energy analysts have said blackouts will last until at least the end of 2024. The electricity crisis has badly impacted South Africa's economy, which is only expected to grow by less than 1% this year. It has also been politically problematic for the ruling African National Congress Party, which has been in government since the end of apartheid in 1994, so under their watch, and has been largely blamed for the problems at Eskom and the state-owned entities. South Africa has national election next year, when the power crisis is expected to be a key issue for voters. But whatever they do, we still have the ANC winning, right? Somebody say no. Yes, I'm telling you. Well, Antina Direji, massive good morning to you. I hope you are doing very, very well. We thank God Nigeria has not happened to you and you are well and doing. Yes. Okay, let's move on. A couple of other stories. Now, uncertain future for the post-president Bazoum after 80 days in detention. Now, Nigeria's president Mohamed Bazoum, overthrown in a coup on July 26, entered his 80th day in detention with his wife and son on Friday. He still refuses to resign and hopes to win his case in court. Which court? They've overthrown you. They've overthrown the constitution. So what are you talking about there? You don't need to resign. you have been overthrown, so they don't need to go through that process where you've resigned and all that culminating that comes with it. Now, while many countries and organizations continue to call for his release, the ruling military regime remains adamant for the time being. Now, since the coup on July 26, Mohamed Bazoum has been held prisoner in his residence in the presidential palace along with his wife Aziza and son Salem. Now, his situation has not changed, says his Senegalese lawyer Mohamed Seydou Diagne. Now, according to members of the entourage interviewed, he's still sequestered without electricity and without and with intermittent access to water. He receives fresh food supplies every other day and regular visits from his doctor, says one of these sources, who adds that he is doing well, as his wife and son. He's as strong as ever. He's not going to resign, insists another source close to him. In early August, Mohamed Bazoum described himself as hostage in an article of the Washington Post and described his family treatment as inhumane and cruel to the NGO Human Rights Watch. But well, let me just be quiet about that. You know, when people are in leadership positions and they don't see to the interest of the populace that they are supposed to be heading, and then something bad happens to them, let me say something bad happens to them, then they go, I'm being treated inhumanely, blah 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 blah. But what are your actions, the actions that you are taking during your tenure, or that you were taking during your tenure as a president or leader of the state, is causing so much pain for some people, but that what they don't see. Maybe at times I don't blame them. Their representatives on the ground do not tell them the truth, as was said about the president of Ghana, who was sitting in the Flagstaff House, or as we call it, the presidential palace as well, thinking that look, everything is fine. This free SHS that have rolled out, everybody is happy about it, blah blah blah. So all the problems of the country have been sorted. And then some people came to tell him that look, we're not happy about that. However, all the time in the past, all that he had heard was that rollout was the best thing that has ever happened to the country. Why is it? Well, it is Starr Radio UK. Now, former Gabonese First Lady has been incarcerated amidst corruption and forgery allegation. Yes, I can see her, whether in the classroom, whether it's in detention, or I'm not sure where this picture was taken from. A former Gabonese First Lady, Sylvia Bongo Ondimba, has been incarcerated at the Central Prison in Libreville, Gabon. She has been under house arrest since the military coup in late August, which accused her of embezzling public funds. Now, on September 28, she was formally charged with money laundering and forgery and subsequently placed in provisional detention after a lengthy interrogation by a magistrate. Now, Sylvia Bongo's lawyers, Migizil Bekali, obtained a 10-day postponement for a hearing to argue for her release. This development comes in the midst of an extensive investigation into alleged massive misappropriation of public funds involving Sylvia Bongo and her son Nuruddin Bongo Valentin, who is already in custody, along with 6 former senior officials from the presidential cabinet, according to consistent judicial sources. The military that overthrew President Ali Bongo's regime following the accusations of election fraud publicly suspected the former First Lady and Nuruddin of manipulating the former president, who suffered severe consequences from a stroke in 2018, and of being the actual de facto leaders of the country for the past 5 years. The coup occurred on the night of August 30, less than an hour after the announcement of Ali Bongo's Ondimba's re-election. The army declared the end of the regime, and General Brice Oligui Nguema, the coup leader, was proclaimed the president of the transition 2 days later. Well. So I don't know. I have a picture in front of me whether she is in prison because what she is wearing, well, who knows? Well, it is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. A Kenyan Kenyan plane has been diverted to London after potential issues. A Kenyan Airways plane from Nairobi bound for London Heathrow Airport was intercepted by Air Force jets, fighter jets, and diverted to land at Stansted Airport on Thursday over a potential security threat. The SS Police force said officers attended an incident at the airport and established there was nothing of concern aboard the plane. The airport remained open throughout the incident. The Ministry of Defense said Royal Air Force Typhoon fighters were launched as a precaution this afternoon to investigate a civilian aircraft which was approaching the UK. It was the plane. It said the plane remained in contact with air traffic control throughout and was escorted to Stansted Airport, where it landed safely. The airline said in a statement that its headquarters had received an alert of a potential security threat aboard the plane. It said the airline and Kenyan and UK authorities carried out a thorough risk assessment of the threat. The crew on board were briefed, and all safety and security precautions were taken to ensure the safety and security of our crew and passengers on board, the airline said, quote unquote. Now, Sunset said the Boeing 787 jet landed safely on Thursday afternoon and was parked at a remote stand away from the terminal. Sunset is some 30 miles, those of you who don't know, 40 kilometers north of London, and is used for flights when there are security incidents because of its remote location. And when we have various presidents, like the American president coming to a country, he lands at Stansted. Yeah, that airport is a bit remote there, so that if anything, they can deal with it. All right then. Well, listeners, it is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, and it is now 7 minutes to the top of the hour. The Liberian election is still being finalized in its results. Counting is still going on, but apparently they've said that it's going to take about 15 days before the results come out. But within that 15 days, what will be happening? What is going on? Huh. Interesting, right? But in relation to that, now, international observers have praised Liberia for the peaceful conduct of its presidential and parliamentary elections held on Tuesday. Now, 20 candidates contested the presidential race, including incumbent George Weah and his main rival, Joseph Boakai. The Community of West African States and the African Union congratulated both the government and the Election Commission for their organization of the polls. Now, overall, the mission notes that the Liberians were able to freely exercise their constitutional rights in peaceful election, said the head of African Union Observation Mission, Pamzil Mlambo Guka. Therefore, we implore all aggrieved parties to use the existing election dispute resolution mechanism to address their grievances, and to do so within the provided time frames and conditions in order for Liberia to continue to improve its electoral process, she said. European Union observers were also happy with some reservations, though. Now, they describe it as largely peaceful and vibrant campaign in which fundamental freedoms were mostly respected and during which the media had been able to work freely. The election day was calm and well conducted by the National Election Commission and their staff nationwide, said Andre Scherder, the EU Observation Mission Chief Observer. Now, it showed Liberians' democratic commitment and was positively assessed by EU Elections Observation Mission Observer, but high turnout, cumbersome procedures, and implementation slowed the conducting of the polls. The EU mission added that the counting phase was assessed less positively due to omissions or incorrect implementation of several important procedural steps intended to ensure integrity of the count. Well, so we hope to see. As I said, it says it's going to take 15 days before the results are declared. But who is calling the shots? Who think they are in pole position or actually in the lead? We'll be telling you more about all that sometime next week as we wait for the 15 days. So that will be about next 2 weeks, though. It will be quite interesting, wouldn't it? But listen, it's all coming away from Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's take a break. We come back. I take you to Ghana as well, and then we look at some of the stories making the rounds there. Well, the former CEO, yes, head of a bank, has been sentenced to a 15-year imprisonment, 15-year jail term. She agreed, Judge Films, before sentencing Ato Essien to 15 years jail term. And we're going to be looking into that as well. The Judge Films. So, now, is that a yardstick for all other leaders or people who have been involved in the banking sector, that those banks have gone bust? Is that what is going to happen? I'll be telling you more about all that and a lot more from Ghana as well. Who's next? The Office of the Special Prosecutor, they are cracking the whip. But what do you think about all that? Well, it's all coming your way, so stay tuned, don't you go away.
Global Real Estate Wealth Summit with Dr. Olumide Emmanuel will be happening live in October in a city of the United Kingdom. It will be an event like none other. 1 day, 8 speakers, 10 sessions. Date, Saturday 14th October 2023. Register now to qualify for the 30% discount offer. Visit www.olumideemmanuel.org/GrewUK to register, or call the hotlines 074-231-55486 or 020-322-30800.
Money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. or you can visit our website www.worldlamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@worldlamp@gmail.com. World Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancer taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancer taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Star Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 2 minutes past the top of the hour. Therefore, you want to hop in or hop on? Simple, you can do so. Call us on 0208-133-2257, or you can text or WhatsApp us 0753-966-1744, 0753-966-1745. Twitter handle is at Star Radio UK, and email address is info@starradiouk.com. All right then. So now let's crack on. Let's crack on. What have we got next? In Ghana, well, Justice Eric Chebafo, the judge who sentenced the founder of the defunct Capital Bank, William Ato-Etienne, has justified his ruling. He said the convict, that is Ato-Etienne, demonstrated sheer greed and needed to pay the price for his action. Delivering his ruling on Thursday, October 12, the judge insisted that Mr. Etienne aimed at stealing gargantuan sums of money from the state through his conduct. According to the judge, nothing was going to have him change his mind on the matter. The convict demonstrated sheer greed in his desire to own another bank besides Capital Bank Limited, and left no stone unturned through subterfuge and deceit with pure criminal intent to set up Sovereign Bank Limited. Now, being in a position of trust, he was expected to have demonstrated a sense of responsibility and true fidelity. He had no cause whatsoever to steal such gargantuan sums of money, the presiding judge said. Mr. Etienne was sentenced to 15 years imprisonment with hard labor by Justice Eric Chebafo. Now, when you look at the prisons, if you have visited any of the prisons in Ghana, I've visited the in some maximum security prison before, and I visited the Jamestown because we were on the evangelism mission, the mission there. And you look at how the whole place is. We didn't go to look at the cells, but you look at how the whole place is like. Now, default position is hard labor. So talk less now saying that if somebody has been sentenced to hard labor, and then you ask yourself, what exactly do they mean by that? Is it now going to be sleeping on top of the... Honestly? Okay, so now Ato-Etienne's imprisonment comes following his inability to fully pay the 90 million Ghana cedis amount back to the state after agreeing to do so. He earlier paid 30 million Ghana cedis upfront in December 2022 and was required to pay 20 million as the first installment of the 60 million outstanding amount by April 28, 2023. But he was only able to pay 5 million. In May, he was given until July 4 to liquidate his assets and pay the state 55 million. This deadline elapsed without any payments made. The state then submitted a request to the court seeking a custodial sentence in line with the agreed terms. Now, Justice Eric Chebafo, upon a request by the convict's lawyers, deferred the hearing of the implication to impose a custodial sentence. But the judge, having exhausted his patience, allowed the state to move the application. The judge, upon hearing the application, jailed Atoesian to spend 15 years in prison. Essien thus becomes the first banking executive to serve a jail term following massive banking sector cleanup in 2017 that led to the collapse of 7 indigenous banks, including the Capital Bank. Now, the background to that story: William Atoesian, Reverend Fitzgerald Odonko, and Tete Nete, a former managing director of the MC Management Service owned by Mr. Essien, were charged with 23 counts of conspiracy, stealing from the 620 million liquidity support given to the bank by the Bank of Ghana to enable it service its maturing debt. The accused persons, according to the prosecution, opened various bank accounts with Capital Bank through which the 620 million Ghana cedis Bank of Ghana liquidity support was transferred, while others were carried in jute bags to Atoesian. Meanwhile, a private legal practitioner, Koiki Pencil, has said Atoesian's jailing is not surprising. Mr. Pencil noted that Mr. Essien's jail term has nothing to do with his capability to pay the judgment sum. However, it is the natural consequence of their non-compliance with the terms agreed with the court. The confession that came as a result of his non-compliance or failure to pay the money ordered by the court is not surprising. It is the natural consequences of his non-compliance, he told Bless Soga in October 12, 2023. That was yesterday. But my question here is, so if I managed to give Atoesian the amount, the 60 million that is, or 55 million that he is allegedly owing the state, will he be released? Okay, we'll be monitoring that very, very closely. Now, one other financial issue that has gone on in Ghana of recent is the office is that of Cecilia Dapper. The Office of the Special Prosecutor has on Thursday, October 12, petitioned the Chief Justice to remove Justice Edward Chung from Cecilia Dapper's case. In a Facebook post, the OSP explained that the judge appears to be prejudiced against the institution. The office therefore requested Getru Chokonu to have him recuse himself or remove him from all its cases pending before him. The OSP has requested the Chief Justice to recuse and remove His Lordship Justice Edward Chung from all cases involving the OSP pending before him. The request is grounded on the OSP's well-founded belief that Justice Edward Chung appears to be highly prejudiced against the OSP and the presence of the Special Prosecutor. Consequently, as it stands, the OSP will not and cannot be reasonably expected to be parties to proceeding before the said judge. So what do you think exactly is going to be happening there? That is the issue. That is the issue. But in reaction to that, democracy, a system of government that keeps masses in perpetual penury and the ruling class swimming in largesse. Kofi Hagan also says in reaction to that, say, come and see your man. Oh, he's now fighting judges. Another opportunity for Paul. Okay, I don't want you. Good evening, Ghana official, to belittle the office of the Special Prosecutor. That's what someone else is also saying. Kwame Ochre and Kwakuduya says. So the OSP thinks he's bigger than the court. He who alleges should prove beyond reasonable doubt. You accuse a woman of misappropriating public funds, yet you can't evidence, and you expect the judge or the justice system to help you bully her. Well, so what do you think about this issue? Now, even if it's your own money, as a member or a minister you're supposed to set good example, right? So you are the ones who have to keep your monies in the banks, right? Unless, of course, looking at everything that is going on with our banking sector, that is all makes it sad that they think that, well, I'd rather have my own bank at home, under bed bank. So what do you think that OSP has done that is wrong there? That people think that he is backing the wrong tree, and that the fact that he's calling for a judge to be recused or to recuse himself is something that is wrong. Somebody will say, I don't see that, but what do you think? I want to hear your take on that. A few people have commented, past their comments there, but quite an interesting one. Okay, 12 minutes past the top of the hour, the time, Starr Radio UK, the station. We're going to be bringing the program to close in the next 18 minutes. So wherever you are, stay tuned and don't touch the dial at all. All right, we're going to be moving on straight to other parts of the world. I was trying to see whether there were any ensuing stories making the rounds in Ghana. One to me is a coward. Kenneth Japan is saying, a flag bearer hopeful of the new patriotic party, Kennedy Japan, has described the party's Ashanti regional chairman Bernard Enchibosiakun as a coward. His comment comes after a press conference by Chairman Wontumi. Well. Firebrand and Firebrander. Let's see what is going to happen between the two of them. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. But Nyawita Makro is saying that we are in a big trouble. Stop the corruption now. I bet if government changes, Shaya. I don't know what's going to happen in Ghana, but I rest my case. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I'm moving on straight to some other parts of the world as well. Let's look at what is happening there. Topmost, the story is making the rounds. Hundreds of cars and families walking in Gaza's main highway, or on Gaza's main highway. On the way here, we've seen hundreds of cars, motorcycles, and trucks heavily loaded with possessions. Some cars with mattresses draped over them. People are traveling with cows, camels, sheep, and donkeys. Lots of families on foot. They've already had to walk several kilometers. It is sad, isn't it? Well, 1 million people and only one road. What's like in areas where people were told to live? The area of the Gaza Strip where Israel has ordered an evacuation within the 24 hours cover around a third of the territory north of a seasonal water course known as Wadi Gaza, which cuts through a narrow band of mainly agricultural land. The order includes the whole of Gaza City and two major refugee camps, Jabalia and Beach Camp. It also includes the towns of Beit Hanon and Beit Lahia. Which are both adjacent to main Erez crossing point at the northern end of the strip. Now, taken together, this represents one of the most densely populated parts of the Gaza Strip. At least 1.1 million live in the affected area. Gaza Strip has population of around 600,000. Beach Camp is home to around 90,000 people, and Jabila, the largest camp in the Gaza Strip, has 116,000. There are at least 6 hospitals in the area, along with around 24 primary care clinics. Now, any mass movement of civilians will inevitably prove chaotic and extremely hazardous. Now, there is only one main north-south road along which everyone will be expected to move. Fuel is in very short supply. Streets in Gaza City and elsewhere are already full of rubble, and there are no signs yet that Israel airstrikes have stopped to allow evacuation to start. Those are the updates that's coming from the Gaza Strip. And the question is, this is a resemblance of the biblical Exodus. Remember that? It's a resemblance of that. But it's a sad one that is going on. And it says the fathers have eaten pepper or spices, and it is the mouth of the children that is on fire. Okay. Now, in other stories making the rounds as well, Israel has targeted Hamas labyrinth of tunnels under Gaza. Israel says it is striking parts of secret labyrinth of tunnels built underneath the Gaza Strip by Hamas as it continues to retaliate for the Palestinian Islamist militant groups as an unprecedented cross-border attack on Saturday. Now think of the Gaza Strip as one layer of civilians and then another layer for Hamas. We are trying to get to the second layer that Hamas has built, an Israel Defense Force spokesperson said. So the Palestinians are living on top and Hamas are living under the earth, and that's what seemed to be. So to get to there, you have to wipe those who are living on top. Or is that why they said that they should leave the place? But listeners, more are going to be coming your way there. And to what end? And how will you know that you've been able to eradicate or wiped out all of Hamas? Some people who are affected by the issue have been talking about a peaceful resolution. A former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud, forgotten his other name, did also say that he thinks that the best way forward is having a peaceful resolution. But in this way, or with what is happening, do you think that is something that can happen today, tomorrow, or when? But in France, this morning a teacher has been killed and 2 people have been seriously injured in a knife attack at a school in France, officials have said. Interior Minister Gerald Darmanin said the attack happened at the Gambetta High School in the northern city of Arras at about 11 hours local time. The attacker has been arrested and is now in custody. According to a witness, he shouted Allahu Akbar, God is great, during the attack. The person killed was a French language teacher. Those injured were another teacher and security guard. The man, described as being in his 20s, is of a Chechen origin and known to the security services for his involvement with radical Islam, according to police. A French media report say he was a former pupil at the school. The French Anti-Terror Prosecutor's Office says it has opened an investigation following the attack, which is described as attempted murder in connection with a terrorist enterprise. The French channel has reported that the brother of the attacker has also been apprehended by police. The brother. Now, police say the situation is now under control. The French President Emmanuel Macron will visit the school later on Friday, while the National Assembly in Paris has suspended its session in solidarity with the victims. The attack comes amid rising tensions in France, sizable Muslims and Jewish communities due to the conflict between Israel and Hamas. Listeners, it is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Before we've got about another 9 minutes before we bring you a repeat of the. Okay, so stay tuned. Let's try to touch on a couple of other stories before we bring the program to a close there. Now, in Germany, 7 migrants have died in a vehicle as a vehicle crashed into Bavaria. The story says 7 people have died after a crowded a minivan driven by a suspected people smuggler over 10, say German police. Now, more than 20 migrants, including some children, are thought to have been in the van. The driver attempted to evade police custody at a road check before losing control near Ampfing in Bavaria, authorities have said. The accident happened amid a rise in people smuggling, which has led several Central and Eastern European countries to impose border checks. Now, police say they tried to intercept the Mercedes Vito van at around 03 hours GMT on Friday. That is at 01 hours. 03 hours local time or 01 hours GMT. The driver of the vehicle, which had an Austrian license plate, accelerated before rolling over several times at a junction on the A94 motorway between the Austrian border and Munich. There have been a number of crashes involving people smugglers in European countries in recent weeks. A car with French license plates thought to be smuggling migrants over 10 in Hungary on Thursday, leaving 2 dead and 6 injured. Last week, a vehicle crashed in the town of Bergesing on the German-Austrian border, around 50 kilometers from the site of Friday's accident, injuring 4 people. Now, several EU countries, including Poland, Germany, and the Czech Republic, have reimposed border checks in recent weeks as a result of an increase in smuggling incidents. Now, Polish authorities say the heightened checks have succeeded in reducing number of migrants crossing. The A94 motorway in southeastern Germany is considered a regular route for people smugglers crossing the border from Austria. Bavarian Interior Minister Joachim Hemann said the tragic crash highlighted the need to strengthen border controls to stop smugglers from entering Germany. Now, first-time asylum requests in Germany rose by 78% in the first 7 months of 2023. Police say the passage of around a quarter of migrants into Germany is facilitated by smugglers. Well, listen, it is Starr Radio UK. Your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Before we bring the first part of the program to close, now let's move on straight to some of the stories making the rounds here in the UK. A woman has been held on suspicion of supporting Hamas after Britain protests. A woman has been arrested on suspicion of supporting Hamas after a protest in Britain. Brighton. Hamas is proscribed as a terrorist organization by many Western governments, including the UK. The 22-year-old was held after counter-terrorism policing Southeast launched an investigation into a speech made at a demonstration on Sunday. The woman, who is from Brighton, was held on Thursday and remains in police custody. Now, officers want to speak to anyone who was at the protest and who has footage of the speech or the event. Home Secretary Suella Braverman has said she expects the police to use the full force of the law against the display of support for Hamas. So, you see, there is a difference there, so people have to be careful about it. If you are supporting the Palestinians, that is a different ball game. Hamas, because it's a proscribed group, you cannot support it. So if you support it, you can be said to be doing something that is wrong. That is how it works. So if you want to go support Palestinians for what is happening there, that is a different ball game. But if you go on the notion that you're supporting Hamas, then be warned. Be very, very warned. Now, Superintendent Petra Lazar from Sussex Police said after reviewing footage, the matter was investigated by counter-terrorism policing Southeast. We will continue to support them as they conduct their investigation. So, coming away from Starr Radio UK, a couple of other stories from the UK front before we bring the first part of the program to a close. Just bear with me whilst we get it on. All right then. Well, in relation to that as well, we have the Jewish school, 3 Jewish schools in London that have been closed over security fears. Now, 3 North London Jewish schools have closed for the day, some citing planned protests in support of Palestinians. Now, parents at one school were told to keep their children inside because of the risk of violence on the street. Now, Menorah High School in Brent, Torah Vodas Primary School, and Ateres Beis Yaakov, both in Barnet, sent letters to parents announcing the closures. The Community Security Trust, a charity providing security advice for British Jews, said schools should remain open. The head teacher of Menorah High School for Girls, a state secondary school with 389 people, said the decision to close her school was made in view of the planned protest. In a letter seen, Esther Perlman told parents, please be aware that this difficult decision has been reached because of the risk of violence on the streets. Okay, listen to Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I bring you a final story from there and from the UK front, and then we can bring the program to close, and we will bring you the Money Man. Okay, so stay tuned. Now, Afghans in UK visa limbo as Pakistan vows to expel migrants. Now, interestingly, hundreds of Afghans who risked their lives to work with the UK in Afghanistan and fled the Taliban are now stuck in neighboring Pakistan as they wait to be relocated to the UK. Now, some have said their days are spent living in fear as Pakistan starts a crackdown on migrants without visas after cross-border tensions rose. Now, Mazia was an English teacher for the British Council. She is heavily pregnant and have been waiting for a UK visa for 8 months. My physical and mental health are not good, she says. When the Taliban took over Afghanistan, our lives were in danger. We had to live in hiding. Now, Mazia is just one of many Afghans who work for or with the UK before the Taliban retook power in 2021. Others are former translators for the British Army or work on British-led projects to encourage democracy and equality. All were told the quality of the UK's resettlement schemes all are in Pakistan because the UK asked them to come to process their visas. They've been there for 8 months. They've not seen their visas approved, and now we have the Pakistani government now coming after them because they've not got the requisite visas to stay in Pakistan. What a mess. My listeners, this is where I bring the first part of the program to a close. Stay tuned and don't you go away. Let's take this commercial break and I'll bring you the Money Hour. Stay tuned.
Global Real Estate Wealth Summit with Dr. Olumide Emmanuel will be happening live in October in a city of the United Kingdom. It will be an event like none other. 1 day, 8 speakers, 10 sessions. Date, Saturday 14th October 2023. Register now to qualify for the 30% discount offer. Visit www.olumideemmanuel.org/GrewUK to register or call the hotlines 074-231-55486 or 020-322-30800. Global Real Estate Wealth Summit with Dr. Olumide Emmanuel will be happening live in October in a city of the United Kingdom. It will be an event like none other. 1 day, 8 speakers, 10 sessions. Date, Saturday 14th October 2023. Register now to qualify for the 30% discount offer. Visit www.olumideemmanuel.org/GrewUK to register or call the hotlines 074-231-55486 or 020-322-30800.
Welcome back to the program Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And now I bring you the money man himself. And today we are looking at the marriage allowance. Marriage allowance. Do you know that when you get married, you get an allowance for that? Have you missed out on that? Which of the marriages are we talking about? Is it a traditional one that we do? Or is it the pam pam param? Is it the one that one we're talking about? But whatever it is, stay tuned as I bring you the money man himself to throw more light on that. Wherever you are, don't you go away. There for you. But now it is time for us to go to Kent, where our money man, Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services, is. And let me take this opportunity to say good afternoon to you, Mr. Tabiri.
Good afternoon to you, Archie. It's a pleasure to come your way again this afternoon.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. How are you doing and how is the family?
I am doing great and family is well. Looking forward to summer holidays.
Commencing today. Interesting one. Okay.
And how are you doing?
Yeah. We're also doing very, very well here. We're just waiting patiently because we know summer holidays, we need a money man to put some money in our pockets because we know times have been difficult for people, and that is the only way that people get money into their pockets. So let's come to the topic that we are looking at today: marriage allowance. Marriage allowance. Now, people will think, oh, you know what? I've been married. What is this man talking about? Allowance for getting married? Yeah. Mr. Tabiri has got it. What is marriage allowance, and is it something that is being practiced here? Is there a law pertaining to that here, Mr. Tabiri?
Right. So this is a topic that we keep revisiting now again, but it's important that we continue to do so because a lot of people are missing out, and when people's circumstances change, they fall into the eligibility criteria for marriage allowance without them knowing that they qualify for this tax-free money. And therefore, it's important that we keep, revisiting this topic so that people can lay hold of what is due them. Yeah. So, marriage allowance, what it basically does is that the allowance that is given to married couples or people in civil partnership allows you to transfer £1,260 of your personal allowance to your husband or your wife or your civil partner. So in any tax year, this reduces their tax by up to about £252 in any tax year. That is really tax-free money, which people are entitled to. So to benefit as a couple, you normally have an income. One of the couple would have to have an income below the personal allowance, or what we call the personal allowance, the lower tax threshold, which is £12,570. And then they transfer £1,260 of their allowance to the partner. And so together as a family, you are then effectively saving cash of £252 on your taxes together as a household.
Okay. Well, listeners, that is for your information. It's quite an interesting there. In these times where things are that difficult that we are counting the pennies, people are counting the pennies, and as Tesco also says in its slogan, every little helps. this is the time, but this is a big chunk of money, 1,260. My goodness. So what do you think about all that? It is all coming your way. Marriage allowance on Star Radio UK. The money hour with our money man, Mr. Dan Tabiri. Okay, so who qualifies for that? You say marriage. Which kind of marriage are we talking about there?
Yeah. So as the name suggests, marriage allowance is for people who are married. So married, in this case, you say married by ordinance or in a civil partnership. That is the first criteria. The second criteria is that one of the partners earns below the tax threshold, i.e. £12,570 in a year. Typically, people in a family where, for example, one of them is the one staying at home to maybe look after little ones or pick up little ones from school, and therefore they might be working but maybe doing a part-time job, or maybe a stay-at-home parent, then they don't have any income. In that case, the other partner can take on their personal allowance of 1,260 and be able to claim this allowance. So that is what this is really about, to support families where there are young children, or perhaps one of the partners for one reason or another has to do a part-time job, and therefore maybe their income is lower than the tax threshold. It allows this to be passed on for overall tax savings in the family. One thing to be aware of is that you cannot claim marriage allowance if you are living together but you are not married or in a civil partnership.
Cohabitation,
So
that was what I was going to ask.
The fact that you're living together will not qualify you for marriage allowance. You either have to be married or be in a civil partnership.
Okay, so
also,
go on, sir.
Let me add that it will not affect your application for marriage allowance if you or your partner are currently receiving pension, or even if you live abroad, as long as you are entitled to a personal allowance in the UK, marriage allowance can be transferred.
Okay. Now, listeners, that's quite a good one there for you, and isn't it right? Now, Mr. Teburi, now let me ask you. Now, so how does the money come into the person? Let's say the one who is earning below the lower tax threshold. Now, so would the person see 1,260 transferred into their account, a payment gone into the account, or how does it work?
Right. Okay. So that's a very good question. So the way it works is HMRC, once you make the application to apply for marriage allowance, and is approved by HMRC, what they would do is that they would amend the tax code for both of you. So your partner who is receiving the allowance would see a higher tax code allocated to them, and which means that they will not be taxed on this £1,250 of their wages.
Okay.
And that is how the money would be received.
Okay.
The other partner would also see a change in their tax code, but that should not affect their tax calculation, or it should not reduce the net income that they are taking, because they would not be already paying any tax at all. So it will not affect them by way of their take-home pay, either by reducing the national insurance or the tax. That will not be affected at all. And the most important thing is that also this allowance can be backdated for 4 years. So where you have made the allowance this year, you have made the application for the allowance this year, And if you qualified for the last 4 years, basically HMRC cannot change your tax code to give you that allowance. And so you would receive a check through the post, £252 times 8, which is just a little over £1,000. Check coming through your door if you qualify for the allowance over the last 4 years. It will be backdated automatically and sent out to you.
Okay. Now, interestingly, another question there is now, you said backdated for 4 years now. So, assuming, because we have some of our listeners who also have maybe just come into the country or have been in the country for a while, so let's call it a year, but they've been married for a long time. When does it start? Is it when you enter into the country, the UK, and then the UK recognizes that, okay, now this person is here, is married, he was married, what, 8 years or 10 years ago in Nigeria or wherever, and they've moved in here. So it's when you've entered this country that you can enjoy that particular benefit from that?
Yes, I would say yes. As you said initially, to qualify for the allowance, you would need to be entitled to a personal allowance. And so you need to be a UK taxpayer, you need to be recognized as a resident in the UK to be able to qualify for a personal allowance. And so if for the past period you were not qualified as a UK taxpayer or as a UK resident person, then you would not qualify for those periods.
Okay. Well, listen to Starr Radio UK. Education. For lack of knowledge, some people say that, but I would say application of knowledge. For lack of application of knowledge, people suffer. So, what do you think? Yes. Okay, we'll go back to Mr. Dantebury for more from that one. Now, how do people do it? How do they work it out? How do they apply for it?
Okay, so one thing to mention is that the personal allowance will once you make the application, the personal allowance will transfer automatically to your partner every year until you cancel the allowance.
Okay.
So the allowance will carry on, will be passed on. You see your tax code every year change until you cancel the allowance. To make the application, you'd have to go online. And you'd have to go through, if you haven't got it already, you need to set up a government gateway account. And when you go to the government gateway account, there will be a link for you to be able to apply for marriage allowance. Certainly, it should be quite a simple and a straightforward process where they ask you details about your work, your income, your marriage situation, whether you are married or in a civil partnership. Take your basic details, NI, address, national insurance number, etc., and your contact details. And HMRC will write back to you to say, let you know your entitlement and how they're going to make sure that you receive the benefit of this allowance going forward. So it should be a simple application. However, if you get stuck, then by all means you need to speak to a professional person to help you make this application.
Okay. Now, interestingly, another question that has come through, somebody's asking the question, if I am married traditionally, does that apply to me as well?
So it doesn't, because traditional marriage in this country is not recognized in the law court. If you have a traditional marriage, but you have come into this country and you have registered your marriage, then it will be qualified, as marriage under ordinance, and therefore you would qualify for this allowance.
Okay, so if you are even traditionally married, you have to register it for it to get into the system, then you qualify for that. Okay, listeners, Starr Radio UK. We'll go back to Mr. Tabiri for any other thoughts there for us, and then we'll end the conversation that we are having this morning. Over to you, Mr. Tabiri.
Yes, so it's a simple application to make for the allowance. Simply go online, search for marriage allowance online. You'll find the link, and then, like I said, you need your government gateway account set up, which is a user ID or a number to identify you, and then they will allow you to set up your own password to access your government gateway account, and that's all that will be required to get the allowance underway. It should be a fairly simple process, but as always, if you get stuck, then by all means speak to a professional person, an accountant who would help you. So important to also remember that circumstances change. Once you've made the application, and automatically the marriage allowance has been transferred to the partner who is on a higher income, and circumstances change in the future, you have to always remember to report the change in the circumstance, especially if it affects your entitlement to claim marriage allowance. So some of these changes might be that, for example, there's a divorce, or there's a breakdown, or a legal separation of the marriage or civil partnership, then you no longer become eligible, and therefore you have to call HMRC and end the allowance.
The question is, how soon should somebody do that? How soon, when there are changes in the person's
I'll say as soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
What happens is that if you are within a tax year, so for example, now we're in the tax year 2023-2024. So if I make a claim for marriage allowance during this year, and unfortunately my marriage breaks down, or let's say I lose a partner, then I do not become eligible. So what will happen is that your entitlement will carry on for the whole of the tax year in which the change happens. But from the next year, you will no longer be entitled. And so you need to cancel your marriage allowance within the tax year that the change of circumstance happens. So another change might be that your income has changed. So perhaps maybe you've gone back to full-time working, and therefore your income has gone over the personal allowance threshold. Therefore you are no longer eligible. Then you have to also report and cancel your claim. As always, a lot of people get caught into the trap where marriage, the circumstances have changed. They have not informed HMRC. They have not cancelled their claim, and claim goes through, throughout continuously into the future. HMRC realizes at some point that these people are not entitled to make this claim, and then before you know, a big bill lands on your table, and you're asked to pay back all this money. So it's absolutely important that people regularly, every year, check their circumstances, if it has changed, and whether they qualify for the claim or not, and then take the necessary or appropriate steps to rectify the situation.
Okay. Listeners, Starr Radio UK, Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GL Accountancy Services, our money man, and today we were looking at marriage allowance. Now, before we go, he was going to put his contact details. I mean, he's not only there to talk about what you can do, how you can get the money, but when it comes to anything pertaining to your accounts, whether you are you are a corporate person, whatever you have a personal, whatever it is, when it comes to the account, he is there to guide you, to help you to do that as well. So he's going to put his contact details across, and then you listen to it and note it, and whenever you have the issue, you can contact him. Over to you, Mr. Tabiri.
Yes, so if anyone needs any help with any tax or accounting advisory matters, I'm happy to speak to them. on 07961248834, 07961248834. And if you call and you mention Star Radio UK, automatically you are entitled to some generous discounts coming your way for any work that is required on your work.
Wow, it said generous, so you got to do so. All right then, Mr. Tabri, let me say thank you very much for this wonderful time with you once again.
It's been a pleasure, and looking forward to speaking to you again soon.
All right then, have a lovely day. We'll catch up later.
Right, thank you.
Yes, so that has been Mr. Dan Tabri, CEO of GI Accountancy Services, our money man, this afternoon. So wherever you are, well, if you are married, yes, under the ordinance, or you've registered your marriage, whether it's a traditional one, you're going to register it, civil marriage, whatever it is, yeah, there is some money there for you, so make sure you take advantage of that. So on that note, let me say thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Yes, I'm bringing the program to a close, but this tomorrow dawn we'll be having the one and only Reverend Michael Esiama and his team once again bringing you the Power Hour by the Power Word International. So make sure you make a date with them as well. And then there's going to be lots of music and all stuff. Sunday morning we're going to be bringing you a live church broadcast as well. And then we'll be having KB also coming your way in the evening with in the evening with the Faith Talk as well. So that is how we bring the program for today to a close. And let me say it once again, as we say it on the platform, though someone has said, one of the, is it a minister said that we shouldn't say that from Nigeria, we say, may Nigeria not happen to you. And to every one of you who tune in, especially Tosino, yes, I pray that everything will be well with you. And then, like I said, we'll catch up later. Yeah? Okay, so let me say bye-bye for now, and I see you all on Monday. The Zongo man sums it all up for you. The problem of Africa. Do you think that is true? Well, enjoy it. See you all later. It's been me, your one and only Archie, and I say bye.
The problem of Africa is the elite.
Thanks for listening.
Do wrong thing. The problem of Africa is the elite. Africa. Who run things, who run things, who run things. Them all go to universities. Universities award them degrees. Big degrees. Degrees. Big degrees. MSc in stealing. Bachelor of Arts, mismanagement. Masters in looting.